The video on cooking this leftover beef ragu-ish, and this pasta in one pan. So I was faffing around and doing like a version of the Assassin's pasta where you cook everything in the one pan, you don't boil your pasta beforehand, you fry it in the pan and use the liquid from the tomatoes or the sauce that you're using. That's what cooks the pasta. So I was kind of thinking we should be able to do it with other types of pasta. And I don't know why we don't just do it with spaghetti. But someone will have done it. So I kind of wanted to have a go at that. And we've got some leftover ragu. So there's about 200 grams there. And so what I was doing was I was frying the pasta and then adding just cheap tomatoes like that. So I reckon there's 400 grams in a tin of cheap tomatoes. Well, even expensive grams. In expensive tomatoes, there's 400 grams. So I reckon about, consistency-wise, maybe a little bit more. I've got a little bit more beef ragu. So 250 grams left of this leftover beef ragu, and then half a tin's worth of liquid of that. We'll just kind of let it down enough so it's the right kind of consistency that a tin of tomatoes would be, because I need to kind of gauge a little bit more. I need to kind of gauge how much liquid to cook this pasta in. So it's normally like a tin of tomatoes and a tin of water. So I kind of, that's about the consistency of a tin of tomatoes, isn't it? And that's probably about the right kind of volume. Can I? Let's get another bowl out. Let's do this on camera. I should have been more prepared, shouldn't I? But no. So, how much is now in weight of this? 300 grams. 340 grams. That'll do. That will do. So, I'm not going to fry the pasta. I'm just going to put it straight in the pan. So, pretend that's a tin of tomatoes. And then we want a tin's worth of water, so just a little bit more water in there, and then we'll use that water to rinse that out because we don't like waste, and it'll save a little bit of the washing up water as well. So that in there, and then 250 grams worth of this pasta in there like that, and I reckon there'll be enough liquid in there to cook that pasta, and it will also, because of the beef ragu-ish type of thing, I think it will make a nice kind of sauce. So we need a little bit of salt in there, and we need a little bit of pepper, but high heat, cook it rapidly, not like a risotto at all, but the same kind of principle, and then we'll see how it turns out. So that has worked, although we had to use double the amount of water. So I put in 1 tin of water and I've had to add another tin of water as it's cooked, probably down to being quite a wide pan, you know, so a lot of the water will have evaporated off because we cooked it quite fiercely. So, how's it taste? Are we going to add a bit of cheese? Probably, maybe not actually. So, pasta's just cooked, probably just slightly over al dente, but it's worked. It'll certainly work with a tin of tomatoes and a tin of anchovies. I just happen to have some leftover ragu, but what I would do is I would take, for that amount of pasta, I'd take a whole tin of anchovies and I would fry them in the pan in the oil to break them up, and when they were like a fine puree, I would then add the tomatoes, then I would then add the pasta, and then I would add 2 tins of water to that, and I think that would make a delicious dinner. I wouldn't fry the pasta. I fry the spaghetti or the linguine, but I wouldn't fry any other type of pasta. I think it's probably a little bit pointless. But anyway, so that works. But anyway, but adding the frying the pasta kind of adds another layer of flavour to it because it's like a caramelisation. Although when it's cooked, the flavour, the browning of the pasta kind of comes off the pasta and then goes into the sauce, so the pasta doesn't actually look like it's been fried. It does not particularly dark in colour. But anyway, so that works. That's delicious, and at some point I'll make a quick video. Yeah, I always kind of think that I faff around with things as an idea, and then that idea kind of morphs into something else or can be used somewhere else. But anyway, so that works and it's delicious.